Well, good afternoon, and welcome to another hour of the Real Talk with Judy show. I am your hostess, Dr. Judy Mandrell, and we're so glad that you tuned in to another great life-changing episode. Want to say, for those of you who are just tuning in, want to say welcome back. Welcome if this is your first time attending. Want to say thank you for choosing us to come in on the show. And if this is your returning time, I want to say thank you so very much for returning to the Real Talk with Judy show. It is always glad to have you all in. I want you to go ahead and call someone and tell them to tune in. Today's subject is maintaining calmness during stressful situations or stressful moments. And just call people. We want to really encourage you, give you some points, give you some tips on how to go in. I brought back a special guest, and she's going to be in her form as mental health counselor today. So we're bringing her back. But I want to thank all of my listeners again for tuning in, to all of the sponsors, investors, and partners of the Real Talk with Judy show. Thank you so very much for supporting us and believing in the message that we give to you and what we're bringing. We greatly appreciate you being a part of this. To my mother, Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley, want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Once again, we celebrated her this weekend, and what a grand time we had. To all my platinum sponsors, Tanya Wesley Powell, and to Carolyn and Douglas Waddell, Danette McBride, to Judge Judith Harkin, Attorney Judith Harkin, former Judge Judith Harkin, to Faye Brewington, James Evan, Richard Meeks, and Bruce Brown, Mother Carrie Smith. Thank you so very much, Pastor Selim, and to those who have made any type of contribution or partner with me in any way. I want to say thank you so very much for being a partner of the Real Talk with Judy show. Also to Dr. Michelle Mitcham and the Tallahassee Women magazine for coming on as a partner with our Sister Girls, our Summit, our Sister Girl Network. Thank you so very much, Dr. Michelle. And also to all of our business partners, Life Changers, Dream Builders, K&D Creative Designs and Marketing Solutions, Tawanda Davis Photography, the law offices of Craig J. Brown, PA, to the Tallahassee Sister Girls Network, Bada Bean, and to Jeff Paint and Body Shop, the Village Inn on the Parkway. I want to thank you so very much for partnering with the Real Talk with Judy show and believing in what we're doing and the messages that we give out to help our people be better and to endure life and to experience life in a greater manner. Also want to give a financial, any of you would like to give a financial donation, you go to my website, www.realtalkwithjudy, or you can cash out me at the $ Real Talk with Judy. I changed it from Dr. Judy to the Real Talk with Judy, so my cash app is Real Talk with Judy. So I want to thank you all so very much. And to my brother, Chico the Virgo, whose birthday was yesterday. We celebrated a little bit before we left. I want to say happy birthday again to my brother. Also to my sister Cindy, CEO, Developing Nation in the United Kingdom, D, Uncle Joe Bullard, Overseer Greg James, Miss Monique. Thank you all so very much for all that you do. And to everyone who have taken a part in the Real Talk with Judy show, the Sister Girls Network, Dream Builders, or anything. I want to thank you all so very much for participating. I'm going to do a prayer, and then we're going to dive into what's into the message, into the subject for discussion today. All right, Father, we ask you to bless the show. Let the people's hearts be touched. Let us help people de-stress. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, today's discussion is again maintaining calmness, being calm during stressful situation. Okay, and I brought back Dr. Michelle Mitcham. We already know that she's the owner and president of the Tallahassee Women magazine, one of the greatest magazines in Tallahassee, hence the world. It's going to be all over everywhere. But I asked her to come back in her other capacity today, and that is as a licensed mental health counselor. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Well, she's back with us today, and we're glad to have her here with us. And the show is designed to really help people. We really want to help the mind, the stress. I was in Fort Lauderdale we rode down to Fort Lauderdale with Hurricane Dorian out there. They didn't know where he was going, and it was evacuated, getting real stressful. But my mom was celebrating her retirement, and we had to be there. So come what they say, hell or high water, we were gonna be there. So we drove down there, but God blessed us with a beautiful time. The weather was absolutely fantastic. We had a great time. But some of the things that I saw, even before I left here, some of the things that I saw, people were stressed. People, they were frantic. And that's because of what we had just experienced last year with Michael, and then Irma and all of these storms. And then as we got to Fort Lauderdale, I mean, it was just seeing people, the stress that we were dealing with, and not just with hurricane, but just life in general. We seem to be living in a very stressful time between work and family and health. I've had so many people to call me asking about daycare. They're going around trying to see the prices, and people are just, life is just becoming stressful, seeing like Michelle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and I brought her back, y'all, because she is phenomenal. And number one, I'm glad she's a phenomenal woman. And number one, I'm glad of God has connected us during this time. And y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all how I deal with it later on after she give us some psychological evaluations and psychological tips. So we're planning on doing a lot here. So if you know anyone who's feeling overwhelmed right now or stressed, we don't want anyone to have to have a stroke, or worst scenario would be to kill themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And that's real.
Yeah,
that's a real threat. So thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate you having us focus on really what we're talking about is mental health.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of mental health first aid training that's going around, and even in the schools, you know, they just voted for mental health training to be in all schools.
Oh, okay.
From 6th grade on, that students will have 5 hours of
really?
mental health training in the state of Florida, beginning at, I think it's 6th grade. Is that correct?
Oh, that is great.
And so that just goes to show you that even though schools have mental health counselors, sometimes, the schools sometimes don't have that. They have school counselors. So the professional school counselors, which have some of the same training, but different training. They have a different internship. So we need more clinical mental health counselors to support those school counselors as far as children. And then there are many, many people that can support mental health in the community. And sometimes we just don't reach out because of stigmas. And we know in many communities, and oftentimes in the African American community and others, that there's a stigma against mental health. Growing up, I think we've all heard things when someone said they had a problem. What did you hear?
They're crazy.
Right.
Oh man, they schizophrenic. They must be bipolar.
Oh yeah.
They got too much.
Or they have a demon, or I mean, just there's so
from
many.
the church perspective, from our demon or possessed or something. So yeah, you want to keep it in, because I don't think many people want people to think they're crazy.
Oh, absolutely not. And we're really, this show is so important because you are contributing to changing the stigma and letting people know, just like you go to get a checkup with a doctor or you get your eyes checked, having a mental health check and just checking in with someone in that field to see if you're balancing things okay, because just everyday stressors, and we all have stressors, and so we look at risk factors and stressors. And so you mentioned work, marriage, children, just balancing it all, going to school, being a caregiver, for example. We know there are lots of stressors. We were just talking about that before the show, being a caregiver. So kudos to all caregivers. Those are all stressors, and we need more support. I think we need tools. And so the reason why I am a clinical mental health counselor and teach in the clinical mental health program at FAMU is because of this issue, because it's so important. So I think that number one, understanding that there's nothing wrong with saying that I need help, letting somebody know. And then if you are not the person they can help, there's some parents and family members that think that love is enough. Love is not enough. You can love someone, but if you don't have the expertise, it is important. You could be passionate about mental health as well. We have a lot of advocates that are great. They are awesome. And they're the advocates that say, wow, see some of the signs. I've been trained in the signs of mental health, but I'm not a therapist. Let me refer you to somebody. We have Psychology Today, and you can go to psychology today or .com and find some of the help. There are resources, and I brought a whole packet of mental health resources that I'm going to leave with you today that are here in the Tallahassee area. In the magazine this month, we talked about mental health from a student's perspective, and we want the students out there to know, go to your school counselor if you're stressing out. School counselors provide emotional support, personal, social, career, and academic. But many times we think we just go to the school counselor for academic purposes, right?
Right.
So we have to tell our children, if you're having a problem and there's something you're stressed out about, not only do you talk to your parents, but talk to the school counselor, because they can get additional help for that child.
Yeah, and I think that's the other word, help. When
yes.
I tend to think that and let me say good afternoon to everybody who's listening and watching everywhere. Patricia, Tamia, Monica, good afternoon. Tara, Robin, Julia, Francis, to everybody, my mom, everybody who's watching, and everyone who's listening. Thank you so very much. I tend to think that people sometimes believe that if they ask for help, it's a sign of weakness. Or it's a sign of I failed. It's a sign of failure. Or it's a sign of, wow, I should have been able to do this.
Right.
But actually, to me, asking for help is a sign of strength.
It is. I agree with you. It's a sign of strength, because being vulnerable is really showing your courage and knowing that you can't do it all. Again, we have experts for so many different things.
Yeah.
Why not mental health? There are people that go to see mental health counselors or psychologists or clinical social workers just for a check-in, again, to see, for their problem solving. Maybe they're going through a transition. Maybe they're going through loss or death. Maybe it's not a death in the family, but loss. Again, those elderly people that have been diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, the caregivers are taking care of people, and there's a loss of someone's the way they were.
Exactly.
So we lose, if you're visiting a parent that is suffering from Alzheimer's and they don't know your name, that's an emotional feeling.
Yeah.
You're going to be sad about that. And how do you get through that? You're not alone. And so what people don't understand is everybody goes through something. We all have parts about us that at times feel broken, but we can be whole again.
Yes.
And by talking to a professional and having that support, and we have to have that system of care, that community of support, and adding mental health counseling to that equation, especially during these stressful times. And you mentioned about the storm. Well, there's a lot of anticipatory anxiety going on.
Yes.
And so when we have anticipatory anxiety, we're thinking about all the awfulness, and we start awfulizing about what's going to happen.
Yes.
And so one of the major things we can do is to start with mindfulness and practicing mindfulness. And so I brought some information here, on mindfulness for you.
Yeah. And I think that is great, because I believe, I looked up the psychology, stress, what is stress psychologically, and it said it's a feeling of strain and pressure, a feeling of loss, out of control, so you don't have enough resources or enough material to handle what's going on. So I guess that would be about the mindfulness. And I know you all keep hearing her saying mental health, but that's what stress is. It is in our mind. It is in our emotion. That's where it lives at.
Yes.
And that's where it's birthed at, right?
Yes.
It's birthed in our mind. And as I was thinking about this morning, I started thinking about that's how we create movies in our mind because of stressors.
Yes.
Because of stress, right?
Yes.
You got The Exorcist, you got Psycho 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
You got all of these different movies, but we too, when we're going through a lot of different things, we create an image of fear or desperation in our mind, right?
Yes, in our mind. So we create these, we have these cognitive schemas. It's like having a GPS and knowing which road to take. So we have these cognitive schemas in our mind. So we have a go-to route of how we handle things, especially our emotions. And oftentimes we express our emotions, especially emotions that are not pleasurable, based on our family of origin and how we saw others express their emotions, and sometimes in a healthy way and sometimes in a not healthy way. So to begin with mindfulness, using the breath we learn to ground ourselves in the present moment and really being in the here and now and welcoming how we're feeling, accepting what is happening in us and around us, whatever it is. We learn to be open to experience without judgment. Being mindful teaches us ways to connect with our emotional experience without becoming overwhelmed. So that's the key point that you said, awareness. It's okay to acknowledge and be aware that you're feeling that way. And so the three components we talked about before were awareness, knowledge, and skills. Sometimes people have a high awareness of what's going on, and they might not have all of the knowledge or the skills, but they have portions of each. And that's why it's important to reach out and, like you're saying, be vulnerable. It's not a sign of weakness to let someone know, hey, something is going on. I feel a little stressed, because if we're really stressed out, we can have an anxiety attack. I think many people have experienced having the sweaty palms, heart racing, and they think they're about to have a heart attack, and they don't know. They have a fear of what's going to happen. That could be early signs of an anxiety attack. And so anxiety oftentimes is attached to that anticipation of what's going to happen. But if we try to get grounded and mindful and practice even breathing exercises, we didn't have time to do it with the sister girls, but we talked about doing some type of breathing exercise. And
well, you remember when Yvonne got up, she started us, Yolanda, not Yvonne, Yolanda. Remember the first thing she had us to do was relax, get quiet, meditate, and just kind of breathe and bring it down, because if we can do that, and I'm learning that when you becoming overwhelmed, one of the scriptures that, and y'all know but one of the scriptures that I use is that when I am overwhelmed, it say, Lord, lead me to a rock that is higher than I. So it brings us to a place that we have to, and this is what we want to give us today, how to maintain calmness, or how to be calm during stressful situation, because if we don't, we're gonna get out of here.
I have an idea. Why don't we do a little exercise right now that everyone that's listening can do with us?
Okay, y'all, we're about to do it. All right, sound good, Doc. Let's do it. All right, y'all get ready. We're about to do an exercise right now. You ready, Miss Monique? We're about to do an exercise right now. See, that's why I brought Dr. Mitcham on, so she can help us. We're about to do an exercise right now.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Okay. So at this time, I invite you to close your eyes. While closing your eyes, relax your body, relax your shoulders. Roll your shoulders back slowly and take a deep breath. Breathe in to the count of 5 or 10, and then breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and breathe deeply. And when you breathe in all those things that you need. Breathe in peace. Breathe in love. Breathe in compassion. Breathe in calm. Breathe in forgiveness. And then exhale. Exhale all those things that do not serve you well. Exhale any negative feelings. Exhale any toxic feelings. Any bad feelings. Disrespectful feelings. Feelings that made you feel minimized and kicked to the side. Exhale all those things that do not serve you well and make you whole. Breathe in deeply and feel the weight of your legs just resting in your chair. Wiggle your legs, wiggle your toes and your feet, and just relax. Drop your arms and your hands if you would like, and shake them around. Roll your shoulders back and inhale. Inhale all those things that you need. Blessings, love, kindness, words of validation, appreciation. Exhale all those things that do not serve you well. Inhale. And as you inhale, focus on that clean air coming in, strengthening your body, your mind, and your soul. Exhale. Whatever's left over, what you don't need, get rid of it. Inhale again. And just think of something peaceful. Think of a happy moment. I want you to turn your attention right now to a rose bush. And I want you to think about, if you were a rose bush, what type of rose bush would you be? What color are you? Are you in a garden with many other flowers? As a rose bush, who's taking care of you? Is there someone pruning your thorns? Do you have thorns? Are you blooming? Who are your caregivers? Tell me about your soil. Is your soil rich? Is your flower bed clean? Who is taking care of you? Are you in beautiful weather? Are you in a desert? Are you by a pretty house? What are you feeling as a rose bush? As you think about the rose bush, think about your life as a rose bush. How are you feeling? Think about your roots. Again, do you have thorns? And if so, what is the purpose of your thorns? When it rains, what's protecting you? At this time, I want you to go back to breathing deeply and exhaling. And whenever you feel comfortable, open your eyes. That was a guided imagery called the rose bush.
That was good. Now, if y'all was to go pay for that, that'd cost about, what, $250? And that was good. And it's just a matter of relaxing. You have relaxed the mind.
Yes, you have to just relax and be mindful. So when you're mindful, you are listening deeply, you're cultivating insight, you're practicing compassion, you're giving yourself a gift when you're mindful, you are expressing gratitude, you're nurturing mutual respect, building integrity, you're being peaceful, and you're trying to cultivate that peace within, because peace has to come from within. And then people, when you exude that peace and that love, like Dr. Judy, you're a shining light and you're a peaceful person, and you exude love and kindness to others, and that's what attracted us.
Yeah.
That light in you, and I saw that light. And you know, sometimes people have a light, but it's been dimmed because of grief or loss or despair or worry or distress. You did mention something in the beginning about stress, and I want to say that some stress is okay. A normal amount of stress is eustress, and that's the EUSTRESS, and that's just a healthy amount of stress that says, okay, it's time to get up, I have to go to work, I have things to do, and it's just normal stress that kind of motivates you and inspires you to move forward. But then when people are distressed, that's the distress that it can be so bad it could turn into situational depression, which everybody experiences, that situational depression. And if it really gets bad, it can paralyze you.
So the situational depression would be one where the situation is causing you to feel overwhelmed or anxious, and it can lead, if not dealt with, to that point of depression.
It could be. If situational depression, oftentimes it's just something that's temporary. But you know that
based on the situation.
Right. And you know that major depressive disorder, for example, and not to get into the details of it, but if someone is so depressed that you have to do a home check on them. You know, you go check on someone, you realize that they haven't bathed in 3 days, they're in their pajamas, they haven't combed their hair, and you know that something's really, really wrong. They've kind of checked out. So that's really a red flag when people can't engage in those activities of daily living. I remember years ago when I worked for the Social Security Office as a medical disability adjudicator, we had to look at activities of daily living. And that's one of the key terms that people refer to find out how long, what's the duration of this sadness, of this blue. For example, some people that are just a little bit sad, but they still go to work and everything, but they're just a little bit sad and a little bit negative for a period of 2 years or more. That's called dysthymia. So picture, do you remember Eeyore? Do you remember what he had above his head?
That little dark cloud.
A little dark cloud. So when I think of dysthymia, I think of Eeyore. It's just a little bit sad, and wherever he went, there was this little blue cloud that followed him, and he was just a little bit down all the time. So there are people out there that have dysthymia, but of course, we don't want to go diagnosing people. We want them to go to a psychologist or a clinical mental health counselor if they would like to get help.
As you were saying that, I just could imagine the listening audience going around and people telling me, you have dysthymia.
No, we don't want to do that.
No, not at all. But this is absolutely being good. We have Jackie Bless on here. She said, I'm not sure if you ladies have mentioned, and I don't think we did, but this is good help. EAP, they have mentioned EAP through an employer.
Yes.
It's free, and so you know about that?
Yes, the Employee Assistance Program is something excellent. We talked about children and school counselors. So at your employer, most jobs have an EAP program, and many people don't realize it's free. The Employee Assistance Plan, and if you're going through something, reach out and take advantage. Even though they say it's free, I think we pay for it somehow, some way, you know. So go ahead and take advantage of it. Also for the students at TCC, at Florida A&M, at Florida State University, at all of the universities, they have a counseling center that the students have already paid for that in their fees, and they have, for the most part, I think, a number of sessions or unlimited counseling, and they can go see a mental health professional at their schools to get them through, because we have a lot going on with that age group as well.
And I think she mentioned on that too, and I'm sure you probably know this, that even if you have family members, they can take advantage of the program as well for free. And y'all, because one of the things, and what made me do this is I'm just looking at so many people who are stressing. Then we look at all of these shootings, and I think that has to do with racism and all of that, but also you got the mental, I think they're just overwhelmed and stressed. We're living in a very stressful society right now. And we're gonna have to learn how to deal with this. And she just gave me a package, community mental health and medical resources, because we want us to get, and it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to say, I need help, you know? I really do. One of the ways that I deal with stress when I'm feeling overwhelmed, one of the first things I do, I go to sleep. I do. I just go to sleep. I put that air down on about 62.
So sometimes we need renewal, and we need to recharge, and sometimes just rest is what we need, because if we're giving and giving and giving, and we're not sleeping and taking care of ourselves, or we're taking care of others, we can also suffer from compassion fatigue.
Wow.
So a lot of people suffer from compassion fatigue.
And I think we have to be mindful that we have to take care of ourselves as well. I think that's what happened to a lot of pastors. You're giving and giving and giving to so many people, and you're giving, and sometimes it seems like they kick you in the face.
Yes.
You know, you're giving, but sometimes pastors, I believe, I remember Pastor Lamar Simmons and I did a show when we were on Pastor Roundtable, and we talked about that a lot of times pastors can't bleed down. You can't bleed down to your members. But you got to bleed somewhere. You know, you have to be able to tell somebody, hey, I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. You know, I just need some help. And so that's why pastors, everybody, you got to relax, take a vacation. And I tried to sit in that position where you put your feet together.
Yeah.
That don't work.
Well, no, but the compassion fatigue is what you're talking about. Do you remember that movie, The Green Mile?
Man, I love you in the movies. Yeah,
okay,
I
and
love
he was
the Green Mile.
inhaling everyone's problems.
Yeah, did he let it out?
That's how compassion fatigue feels, and so that's
Wow.
another. I'll come back and talk to you about that and send you some
Wow.
information on compassion fatigue. But I wanted to read something to you. On mindfulness, there's a quick little poem that I think would help.
Okay.
And it's whenever you're experiencing emotion, I think it's important to stop and try to process that. You know, in the counseling world, we process. That's what we do. Our students at FAMU understand this is a 60 credit program, but they have to process feelings all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But any feeling that you have has value, whether it's negative or positive. So there's a poem, The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So, whatever emotion is visiting you, try to figure out where it's coming from. If you have a trigger and you're reacting to something, say, wow, what am I reacting to?
Yeah.
It might not be that person at work. It could be, your brother or your sister. It could be someone else.
Yeah.
Try to understand where those feelings are coming from. These are all things that I'm leaving with you on mindfulness. And then...
Yeah, because she's leaving it with me. Is she trying to say something?
No.
No. Yeah, but that is true. That was the other thing. On my way to sleep or when I wake up, I'm able then to figure out what is overwhelming me or what stressed me and put it in the pocket so I can deal with it. Mm-hmm. Prayer and the Word of God are two of my most go-to everything. When I wake up,
yes.
I used to watch Scarface all the time. Like when I get overwhelmed, I just put it on the part where he's shooting the gun and said, "Rock-a-bye, baby." I did watching Scarface or New Jack City. Mm-hmm. Those two movies, and then Patch Adam. Now, all three of those fit together. But it's like if I can just for a moment take me out of the moment, and then just revamp. I'm not one that really get overwhelmed. Very seldom, but it happens. Or stressed, but it happens. No, I'm not in denial to say that I'm walking around here like I wear the Wonder Woman shoes, but there are points in life that things happen. Yes. But I'm able to pinpoint it, recognize it, and then I ask for help. Because one thing I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna allow. I know everybody's saying I need to rest, and I do. I need some rest, and I'm gonna get it real soon. But at the same time, to find out what the stressors are and what's going on.
Well, there's a lot we do too. So it's good that a lot of times people have to need a release. So they watch a mindless movie or a cartoon, or they draw, or they cook, or they make things. We're in this whole DIY culture, which is great. Do it yourself, make something, create something. And those things help us to balance, sometimes to plant something, get grounded, go outside and put your toes in the grass and just inhale, or go by the water, or go to the beach or something like that. So what you're talking about is a self-care plan.
Yes.
That could be positive affirmations or prayers. There are things that we all say when we're stressed out, right? There's things that you say. There's prayers we have, right? Everyone has some favorite prayer or scripture or psalm or something that their parents said. I always tell my kids when they're overwhelmed, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. Everything is going to be okay. There are people that are in the darkness that would like to pull you into the darkness with them, but you have to tell them, I choose not to go.
Yeah.
And so I think choosing, choose your battles wisely, and even if your name is on it. But if your name's not on it, it's not your battle.
It's not my battle.
Exercise is important, even if you're walking.
Hold on for just a minute. Mm-hmm. So you all can go ahead and do this. She's giving us a self-care plan. So that's one of the ways that you can maintain calmness in stressful situation. She's given us some. We did the deep breathing to take ourselves there. That was powerful. Now we're doing the self-care, and before that she gave us the awareness, knowledge, and skills to ask, and so we have to get that done. And so now we're working on the self-care plan. Okay, the self-care plan, because we don't want anybody listening and you're over, and one other thing she stated, ask for help. Okay, and you have to realize who to ask for help. I put something on, I think we were driving back from Fort Lauderdale yesterday, and someone had put a post out about everybody won't support you, that kind of stuff, but somebody will. And sometimes I think people get stressed, and I was having this conversation, getting stressed because the person or people that they really want to support them don't support them. So they say, I don't have anybody to support me. But my thing is, listen to all these other, you have people who are supporting you that you have no idea. So we were driving Dr. Michelle, and we saw all of these ambulances coming from Acadian. They were Acadian ambulances, but they're from Texas. But it had to be maybe 60, 75 of them. Every last one of them had on their emergency light. They were going to help. I don't know if they're going to the Bahamas or they're preparing for Florida or wherever, but they were going. But one of the things it showed me was people don't know they're coming. And so one lady was on there, nobody helping me, but the help was coming. And so my thing is, we have people helping us and supporting us that we have no idea. And sometimes we're stressing because one or two or three or four not supporting, but you have a slew of people.
Yes.
And that's what that showed me yesterday. I mean, they were coming. And then over here in Wildwood, they had hundreds of trucks, utility trucks, and all those different workers from everywhere that's lined up, waiting to go help, just waiting on where to go. And what that showed me, we have people in place who's waiting to help us, waiting to support us. We have more support, but you have people stressing.
Right, so what you're talking about, and we're not going to get into cognitive behavioral therapy, but you know that we all have cognitions. For example, when you think about a big black bear, there's a cognition. And then you think, what's the feeling that follows? If I said there's a big black bear on the other side of the door, there's going to be some type of fear.
Lock that door.
Right, and then after the fear, what is the behavior that's going to follow?
Yeah.
You're going to run. So the same thing happens when we have this anticipatory anxiety about the storm. It's very important to, first of all, what is the cognition? What are you thinking, and what feelings are being triggered? So it's very important to stay abreast of the facts, see what's going on with the storm, find out where the help is, the resources, get all the information you can, because not only are you increasing that awareness, but your knowledge. So oftentimes we can get lots and lots of knowledge that can help reduce some of, those anticipatory feelings of anxiety. Then talk it out with someone.
Someone have a question right here, Monica Stowe. She said, is there a great mental health counseling resource for single working adults with no insurance, who is a non-student, not on public assistance, not a senior citizen, and no kids?
I would say that there's a list that I gave you, and we have the mental health hotline number, the 211. Where's your packet of mental health services? So on here, I know the Big Bend 211, there's some resources you can call. I don't know if they're in
Okay,
disabilities,
start off by calling 211,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of services that they can offer. Matter of fact, I had the opportunity of meeting the president of 211.
Right, that's a 24-hour crisis line.
Yeah.
And so to start there, but I know that there are many mental health services, so that's why I brought this entire packet to you and printed it out. And I have another packet as well. And
So I guess I would like to say to the audience as well, if you need, start with 211, and then we will post some of these resources on the Real Talk with Judy web page. And so you can go there, and that's the Real Talk with Judy, dreambuilders.com. The Dream Builders Greatness Center.1. RealTalkWithJudy.com. Okay, go there, and we will post these on there so you can have them, because we're doing this show. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what I'm going to do right quickly. 850-205-1410. If you have a question that you want to ask Dr. Michelle, if y'all notice, everything I say has a mental whatever diagnosis, and I know that's that book. What's that big mental?
The
DSM.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I started. I was going for my master's in psychology, and also going to be a lawyer. I wanted to do anything that was going to help people. I wanted to do.
Well, it's never too late. Do you mind, just for a moment? It's a shameless plug. I have to say something about the clinical mental health counseling program at FAMU. Is that okay?
Well, I mean, you already started.
Okay. I just want to say that we need more people in this field. So I kudos to you and thank you for raising awareness about mental health. At Florida A&M, we have a phenomenal 60 credit hour program in clinical mental health counseling and school counseling. The students get 1,000 hours of internship.
Wow.
And it's a phenomenal program, and it's one of the longest ones. It's one of the best kept secrets. The students leave FAMU and they go right over to the Department of Health, and they can apply for their provisional license as a registered mental health counseling intern.
Wow.
So we really believe in social justice, the urban school counselor, and we really need people that look like everyone, diverse people of all walks of life and races and faces, to jump in and take on this tough role of providing mental health. We need more people. So thank you for letting me do that.
Yeah, she said the person called 211 and was referred to Appalachia, epic fail.
I'm here.
Yeah, she said it was an epic fail.
Okay, so I would say there's still there's a whole packet here, and maybe you can this is about 5 pages long about where community mental health services are. And so I don't know where there's some people that may do some things pro bono, but I would definitely go through, and if you post some of these resources online, and some of the mental health resources.
So we'll go through and post some of these, because epic fail is not what we want.
No.
We do not want people to seek help.
Right.
And then when they seek help, what they receive is not effective.
Correct.
So we would list some more. And maybe somebody listening who also have some ideas, or you know of a place somebody might be able to go, or you're familiar with it. This is what this is all about, to do a wellness, to open it up. And you may know where to go, you may know what to do, you may know someone or whatever, but we want to pull our resources together. Dr. Mitcham here I have 2 packages here. And my assistant is going to place it on the RealTalkWithJudy.com webpage, and we're going to get help. That's what it's all about, because we don't want anyone asking for help and not receiving the help. This show, the Real Talk with Judy show, is not just about having a show. It really isn't. Everything that we're doing is to help us be better, to help us get better. I'm right now in a place of revamping some things. I want to revamp. My daycare, I want to bring in, and matter of fact, because of this show and because some people who have asked, if you're brand new and you're looking for a daycare or after school program, after school is already $150. You can't, and that I pick it up, and that's $150 a month. I pick up the children from several schools. Like, I've had so many ask me to pick up from schools that's just too far. I can't go way past the Walmart on Monroe. I can't go to Fort Bradenton. I can, but it'll defeat the purposes. So we got some good programs that we're doing at the daycare and my after school. I mean, some very good programs, and we're getting ready to partner with government charters to get 25 of their families to work with children who are just hurting and I mean just a whole lot of stuff, so we can help with these families, because sometimes families need strengthening.
Absolutely.
And if the family gets strengthened, then the children get strengthened, and the children pass. So for those of you, and I'm doing this simply because I've had so many parents who come and they're getting on our list, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to give, this is your first time coming to Dream Builders. Now, as I said, the after school is already $150. I took $50 off of that for parents, because I want to help parents. You know, some parents got the money and they don't want to invest in their children. You got to invest in your children to get the best cost. But because I know that our child development center, and I pride myself on the workers that we have older women, and they're teaching these kids the basics of life, the reading and the fundamentals of that. So this is what I'm going to do. I will give you a 20% discount, up until the end of September. 20% discount.
That's excellent.
Yeah, because I've had parents, mothers who come in crying saying daycare is too expensive, and I understand that. You know, it is a business, but at the same time, we want to help the families. Michelle, we got to help these women. You know, I mean, they're crying out. We don't want to see women dropping their children out because they can't take care of them. You know, and Talithia Edwards, oh man, I applaud her.
She's amazing.
Oh gosh, and to take that baby in.
And she was on USA.
I saw that.
That national.
She Tallahassee.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I mean, and to do that was, oh God, just to do that, and not getting any assistance. She's not getting any assistance from. She got to pay for childcare. And so 20% discount to those who will come to Dream Builders the whole month of September.
That's excellent.
And it's to say, hey, we got to help, because sometimes it's just a stressor.
That's right. Speaking of stressors, you wanted me to say something about couples and healthy marriages. And if I could say a couple things about that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
again, hold on. While she's doing this, 850-205-1410. Go ahead and call us. Okay.
So, with healthy couples, and I recommend a book to people all the time, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John Gottman. And so here's the book. Okay, The 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work. So the sound relationship house is what the Gottmans talk about, that it's built on trust and commitment. And so you have to build your love map, and it shows all these different levels of what you need to do to really create shared meaning and make your dreams come true, but to manage conflict. But there's this whole concept of turning towards one another. And there's lots of tools that go with the Gottman method. And a lot of it has to do with how do you recover from a regrettable incident? You know, how do you get beyond that? And some people don't have the tools to even get through the conversation, and they just shut down. So I want to share quickly, these are the 4 things that shut a relationship down. Many people have heard, and it's called the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. One is criticism. Criticism involves attacking your partner's personality or character rather than focusing on the specific behavior that bothers you. It's healthy to have disagreements, but there's healthy ways to disagree, on something, but agree to talk about it instead of knocking each over their head or cursing or whatever. There's a way to discuss it. So criticism is really a bad one.
One of the things I want to ask about criticism, Doc, too, is I know my husband and I have been married 38 years. 38 years.
Amen. Yeah. That's a long time.
It is.
So you have the magic.
Oh, I got the magic, girl. I got the
yes, you did.
I got the magic.
You have the magic.
That's a lot of prayer. And one of the things too with criticism, one of the things we've done, we very seldom criticize, but if we do, it's in one of those happy moments time. and it's not really, I guess it is a criticism, but as you stated, it's not an attack.
Yeah, there's a way, right?
We're not attacking. It's a compliment with the criticism. With
so you're saying what you do is you say what the positive is first,
yeah,
and then maybe a however.
Yeah.
Like what you did was great, but however, there's one thing that I have concerns about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, you
so
know,
what that's called, we call that the soft startup. So you've mastered the soft startup.
I see, I'm a social worker, number one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a social worker. I think I'm a psychologist without all of the educational degree, just the life experiences.
Your lived experiences, you have a lot of them.
Yeah, and I think that's what, and then being raised and trained by parents
Mm-hmm.
who taught us the concept of respecting others and that we are different and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to be different.
Yes.
And all of those different things. I think all of those things really helped me with that. And so, and my husband is not a, oh gosh, we were married 38 years, and this is no joke. And I think whether he like it or not, he does not criticize.
Well, that's a blessing. See, it's because people that really get into a lot of criticism, that's rooted in anger. So criticism is one of the 4 things that will kill a relationship.
Wow.
The second one is contempt. You know, contempt is one step up from criticism, and it involves tearing down or being insulting towards your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So contempt is a sign of disrespect. So even if you're on the phone talking to your significant other and they're speaking, but you're rolling your eyes, that's a form of contempt. Why are you rolling your eyes?
Because they can't see it.
Right, exactly. So, you know, that's putting down your
Wow.
spouse, you know, tearing them down to another person, even if it's funny. So contempt is one of the 4 things that will kill your relationship.
Wow.
And you wonder, what is all that about? Where is it coming from? The third thing is defensiveness. Adopting a defensive stance in the middle of conflict may be a natural response, but does not help the relationship. If someone is defensive constantly and they're denying responsibility, making excuses, or meeting one complaint with another, those are signs of defensiveness.
Yeah.
I tell people, even if you own 10% of the problem and the other person owns 90%, if you can work on that 10% and own that or be accountable, even if it's 1%, and also agree to disagree. So the 4th thing is stonewalling. I think everybody knows what that is. That means when you just refuse to respond. It's like talking to a wall. You just shut down. Occasionally that can be healthy because you don't want something to escalate, but if that is your go-to way of engaging with a significant other, so if you have this recipe for disaster of criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling, that is a huge red flag for your relationship.
Wow. And I think that is good, you all. That would be for our marriages and for any relationship that we're involved in, because all of those produce stressors. All of those take you to a point of depression or anxiety. And one of the other things I want to hit right quickly, Dr. Mitcham, this is absolutely great. One of the other things I want to mention is that stress and mental overwhelmness is also a cause for a lot of our health problems.
Yes, because those things translate exactly to medical and manifest in physical problems. Stress. And so we can, whatever we can do to get that self-care plan together, I think that even writing your own plan.
Yeah.
The other day I was doing a training and I told everyone to do a personal SWOT analysis, you know, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Okay, hold on. Do say that again. Write that out. SWOT. Your SWOT analysis.
Yeah,
Simply so people can.
Right.
I mean, I know we're giving you all a lot.
Well, tools. That's what you do. Tools,
yeah,
and I love about you. You love tools
as
well. Yeah. So tools. A SWOT analysis is typically used for businesses for strategic planning, but I like to use a SWOT analysis for a personal life, especially for a self-care plan. So for that SWOT, for that SWOT analysis, and that's about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to work, you have to write a goal statement. So I think that with this topic, everyone today mentally or physically wrote out a self-care plan goal. Like my goal is to, what's something, for example, someone could do? My goal is to, walk every day, or to get in some type of exercise 3 times a week, or I want to lose 10 pounds, or whatever it is. Everyone has a different goal. So if they could write down their goal and then, like tic-tac-toe, make the 4 squares.
Oh.
And the first square you put the S for your strengths, and then you ask yourself, what are some strengths that I have that will help me to reach this goal that I've written out at the top? And then for weaknesses, think of it as opportunities for improvement, like areas for improvement. What are some areas for improvement that can help me to reach this goal? And then the O is the opportunities. What specifically can I do? And be really creative with that. What are some opportunities that can help me to reach the goal? Maybe exercise with a friend, reach out to a mental health counselor, have a partner, exercise with a friend, eat healthy, or whatever it may be. And then the threats. What are some real or perceived threats that you think would prevent you from bringing that goal to fruition? So you first have to write out the goal very clearly at the top, and then write that out. This is a self-care project and tool that can help you to reach your goals. And so a SWOT analysis for self-care is a great tool that you can follow.
Okay, so that would be a good one. And so we really want you to get on really write this down. I want to thank you all now. You got just by my clock, you got 3 minutes, 850-205-1410, call. But listen, you got heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, diabetes, headaches, migraine, regular tension headaches, and migraine, depression, anxiety, gastrointestinal problems. It said stress doesn't do it. It doesn't cause us ulcers.
Well, the thing is, right, so if you can handle, everyone needs to handle their stress. And so if you have high levels of stress, it can lead to physical problems.
Right.
So definitely. So this is a great topic, and I really appreciate you, Dr. Judy, Pastor Judy. Thank you for inviting me to discuss this problem, this issue of mental health. And I want everyone to know that there is help out there. You are not alone. I know that there are many places you can call. If the 211 didn't help, if someone's having issues, for example, with drug or alcohol, they can call this village. There's the TMH Behavioral Center. There's Appalachia. For girls, there's the Oasis Center for women and girls.
Yeah, and that would be a good place. Call the Oasis Center, and because they offer so many different things. So there's a lot of help out there.
Yes.
And you can call me, and I'll do my best to refer you to someone as much as possible. We will help you find the help. We have some phenomenal people in Tallahassee.
Yes.
And we have a lot of phenomenal people who's waiting to help. They want to help. And one of the things you have to find out, and I want you all to know, if you have insurance, or use it. If you don't have insurance, I'm sure that someone will work with you. Things in life cost, but some people will work with you, and they have partners who have partners, and it's just a whole lot of stuff that we have. So we really want you to get the help that you need. We want you to make maintain in your stressful situation. Find some way to maintain some calmness. Okay, pull back from the situation if you have to.
If you're right, perfect. You know what? Say no. You can't help because you can lead to that compassion fatigue and stress because you're trying to help so many other people. So that's very important to say no, and also asking for help. That's very important. And if you call any of those mental health numbers that you post and they don't have free care, I would ask them, where do they recommend? Because again, there's the Appalachia Center. There are many places out there. There's a refuge house. There are many places that have assistance, or they may refer you to somewhere that can provide help.
Okay. Again, thank you, Dr. Michelle Mitcham.
Thank you.
Tallahassee Woman Magazine President. want to thank you. An awesome magazine. If you haven't gotten your magazine, get it. It is an awesome magazine. It comes out every other month, and she has great articles in there, great help, and it's a beautiful magazine. Absolutely beautiful.
And I'm going to leave you another one. Then we have President John Thrasher's wife, Mrs. Jean Thrasher, on the front today, and we highlight a lot of people in there. Christy Kennedy is in there. We have a FAMU graduate, Taylor Darks, and some other fabulous people in this issue. So thank you so much. That's another one for you.
Thank you. So y'all make sure you get it. Again, Dr. Mitcham, thank you so very much for being on here in your mental health capacity. Want to thank you. Listen, y'all, there's nothing wrong with needing help. The wrong part or the hurtful part comes in when you don't ask for help.
That's right. With risk and courage, you can redefine the possibilities in your life. Courageous conversations.
Yeah. Yep. So let's make it happen, okay? Ask for help. Just seek it. Sometimes you have to revamp, you have to redo. Remember, I do have a special for September. This is your first time at Dream Builders. I'm going to give you 20% off of your tuition. All right? And
wow.
That's 20.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we take babies 6 weeks to 4 years old.
Wow.
And I promise you, it is a learning institution. So we're doing that. For you, all right? And it is to help you. Also, want you to remember, go ahead and mark your calendar for December 16th, 2019 for the Sister Girls Holiday Party. It's going to be at the Tallahassee Community College Workforce Banquet Hall. So y'all go ahead and mark that in your calendar. You will see that everywhere. That is the December 16th from 7 to 10 p.m., the Sister Girls Holiday Party. And look, I look to see you. You could come with me tonight if you like. I'll be at Bible study at Life Changers, 601 Mickey Road, or you can come Sunday at 11 a.m. I'll be in morning worship at Life Changers. Yep, that's why I attend church. I attend church at Life Changers, Church of God in Christ, 601 Mickey Road. And you can come visit the daycare if you like, 611 Mickey Road. Y'all, we got a lot going on, and we want to thank Tallahassee for all of your support in the surrounding area. Everybody who was listening to the broadcast by way of video or radio, thank you so very much. Guess what? I see us in the future, and we look so much better, and we're doing so much better than we are right now. Right before I end, Miss Monique, that was my ending. I want to say a prayer right quickly. Father, we thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Father.
You kept the lives in Bahamas. We pray for those families who lost loved ones. We ask you to give them strength and peace as only you can do. I'm a believer that you can suck that water up real quick and have it to evaporate somewhere. And we pray that wherever Dorian is going, that it not cause any more catastrophic conditions. We pray for this whole year of hurricane. We ask for your peace and for your covering. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
That's real talk.